بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما تعلمنا وزدنا بفضلك علما وتعليما إنك على كل شيء قدير. باب الوتر concerning the witr prayer. أخبرنا مالك أخبرنا زيد بن أسلم عن أبي مرة أنه سأل أبا هريرة كيف كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يوتر؟ قال فسكت ثم سأله فسكت ثم سأله فقال إن شئت أخبرتك كيف أصنع أنا. قال أخبرني. قال إذا صليت العشاء صليت بعدها 5 ركعات ثم أنام فإن قمت من الليل صليت مثنى مثنى فإن أصبحت على وتر. So Malik informed us saying that Zayd ibn Aslam informed us from Abu Murrah that he asked Abu Hurairah how the Messenger of Allah ﷺ used to perform witr, and he went silent. He didn't answer. Then he asked him again, and he was silent. Then he asked him again. He said, "If you will, I will tell you what I do." Abu Murrah said, "Tell me." He said, "Once I have prayed Isha, I pray 5 rak'ahs, i.e., 2 rak'ahs qada after Isha, and then 3 rak'ahs. Then, should I get up in the night, I pray in pairs of rak'ahs. And should I sleep until morning, I have prayed with it." Right? And this is the best thing to do. Somebody who is not confident that they will get up. Right? And so, رحم الله امرأ عرف قدره ووقف عنده. May Allah show mercy to somebody who knows their ability. What can you actually do? Right? Doing more than you can do is wrong. Doing less than you can do is wrong. Right? And so, it's important to understand that. So you should stick to what you can do, and that's it. أخبرنا مالك أخبرنا نافع عن ابن عمر أنه كان ذات ليلة بمكة والسماء متغيمة فخشي الصبح فأوتر بواحدة ثم انكشف الغيم فرأى عليه ليلا فشفع بواحد بسجدة ثم صلى سجدتين فلما خشي الصبح أوتر بواحدة. So Malik informed us from Nafi' that Ibn Umar was in Mecca at night and the sky was overcast. He was anxious that morning was coming, so he performed the witr as 1 rak'ah. Then the cloud drew away and he saw night over him. So he paired that rak'ah with a prostration, i.e. with a rak'ah, and then prayed. So he didn't just do one sujood, but rather he did 1 rak'ah. Sajda can mean rak'ah because and then prayed pairs of rak'ahs. Then when he was anxious that morning was coming, he performed witr as 1 rak'ah. Right? So this tells us that witr can be prayed as 1 rak'ah. But also we see that he's praying a 1 rak'ah to balance it out. Is that the Maliki school? I don't know. Right? Generally speaking, you cannot do a 1 rak'ah prayer. The only 1 rak'ah prayer you can do is witr itself. قال محمد وبقول أبي هريرة نأخذ لا نرى أن يشفع إلى الوتر بعد الفراغ من صلاة الوتر لكنه يصلي بعد وتره ما أحب ولا ينقص وتره وهو قول أبي حنيفة. The Imam Muhammad, he said, we adhere to what Abu Hurairah said. We do not approve of someone pairing the witr after having finished the witr prayers. Rather, he should pray witr however he should pray whatever he likes after his witr, as opposed to undoing it. That is the verdict of Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. Al-witr ala dabba, praying witr on a riding beast. So this proves for the Jumhur that it is sunnah to pray witr and not obligatory, because the prayer is either fard or it is sunnah. Sunnah you can pray on an animal or while walking, and the fard you cannot. أخبرنا مالك أخبرنا أبو بكر بن عمر عن سعيد بن يسار أن النبي, so this is مرسل, أوتر على راحلته, that the Prophet ﷺ prayed witr on his mount. قال محمد قد جاء هذا حديث وجاء غيره فأحب إلينا أن يصلي على راحلته تطوعا ما بدا له فإذا بلغ الوتر نزل فأوتر على الأرض وهو قول عمر بن الخطاب وعبد الله بن عمر وهو قول أبي حنيفة والعامة من فقهائنا. Right. Imam Muhammad said, this has come, there's this, and there's other indications as well. He says, however, we prefer that a man pray on mounted by all means as he sees fit. Excuse me. Then when it comes to witr, he dismount and pray on the ground. And that is the verdict of Umar ibn Khattab and Abdullah ibn Umar, and it's the verdict of Abu Hanifa and the majority of our fuqaha. And remind ourselves when we say our fuqaha, i.e. the Kufans, the Kufan madhab already exists before Imam Abu Hanifa. So Babu Ta'khir al-Witr, delaying witr. Says أخبرنا مالك أخبرنا عبد الرحمن بن قاسم أنه سمع عبد الله بن عامر بن ربيعة يقول إني لأوتر وأنا أسمع الإقامة أو بعد الفجر يشك عبد الرحمن أي ذلك قال. So Malik informed us that Abdul Rahman ibn Qasim informed us that he heard Abdullah ibn Amr ibn Rabi'ah say, I pray, perform witr while I hear the Iqamah, or even after dawn. Malik said, Abdul Rahman wasn't sure which he said. So the point is, we call this what? Qada of witr then. Right? So the Shafis, they say, any sunnah prayer that has a fixed time that you can do qada of it, but this is qada. أخبرنا مالك عن عبد الرحمن أنه سمع أباه يقول إني لأوتر بعد الفجر. Malik informed us from Abdul Rahman that he said, that his father said, so this is Abdul Rahman ibn Muhammad, so ibn Abdul Rahman ibn Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, right? He said, I do witr after dawn. I do qada of it. So I miss witr and I do it in Fajr time. أخبرنا مالك أخبرنا هشام بن عروة عن أبيه عن ابن مسعود أنه كان يقول ما أبالي لو أقيمت الصبح وأنا أوتر. Right, it's fine. Now this is rare. Notice the chain transmission here. This is Madani, Madani, Madani to Kufi. So you can imagine a Kufan saying, why would I listen to you? Why would I listen to Urwa ibn Zubayr talking about Abdullah Mas'ud when I have the students of Abdullah Mas'ud and that whole circle in Kufa? Right, so they might be not even very interested. أخبرنا مالك أخبرنا عبد الكريم ابن أبي المخارق عن سعيد بن جبير عن ابن عباس. So this is a Meccan chain. Okay, Sa'id ibn Jubair is Meccan and Ibn Abbas Meccan. Imam Malik studied with Abdul Karim ibn Abil Mukhariq in Mecca, right? And he thought he was a good narrator, right? But this is one of the examples where Imam Malik was mistaken, right? Like, generally speaking, he's very, very strict about who he narrates from. But Allahu A'lam, he was mistaken. So if we look here, um, so he says here, Abdul Karim ibn Mukhariq ضعيف الحديث مؤدب يروي عن أنس ومجاهد وسعيد بن جبير, right? وعنه مالك والسفيانان, سفيان الثوري, سفيان بن عيينة, وحماد بن سلمة, right? قال النسائي والدارقطني متروك. قال أحمد ضربت على حديثه, I gave up, just forget it. قال ابن عبد البر اغتر مالك ببكائه في المسجد وروى عنه في الفضائل. This is not في الفضائل. Right? This is in it's not in Fadail. Right, so here, so Ibn Abdul Bar, the great Andalusian Maliki, he said Malik was fooled by his by his buka, how amazing he was. He was an amazing person. So being da'if in hadith does not make you a bad person, right? What it means is just not reliable. And he narrated hadith from him concerning meritorious things. In reality, that's not necessarily the case. He is narrating from other issues. He's in Ta, Sin, Qaf, Mim. He's in Tirmidhi, Nasa'i. He's even in Sahih Muslim. That's interesting, but where in Sahih Muslim and how? I don't know. So generally speaking, if Imam Malik narrates from somebody, that person is thiqa. Imam Ahmad will say this, Rawa anhu Malik, like that's a tawthiq, right? That's enough, right? But it's not always enough. Okay. So Imam Malik, he said, Abdul Karim, and so this is Imam Malik, right? Tapping into Medina. So is Imam Malik Basran or Kufan or Shami or, no, he's not, but he's aware of these people, right? He's sufficiently aware of what's going on in other places to know about the Khilaf, etc. So Abdul Karim ibn Abi al-Mukharik informed us saying that Sa'id ibn Jubair, so this is Sa'id ibn Jubair who was killed by Hajjaj, right? That Ibn Abbas slept, so here we said, أنه رقد ثم استيقظ فقال لخادمه انظر ماذا صنع الناس وقد ذهب بصره فذهب ثم رجع فقال قد انصرف الناس من الصبح فقال ابن عباس فأوتر ثم صلى الصبح. So Ibn Abbas slept and woke up and said to his servant, see what people have done. He had lost his sight by then. He went and then returned and said, people have finished praying the dawn prayer. So Ibn Abbas got up, performed the witr, and then prayed. So this tells us that witr is obligatory because you have to pray witr before you pray the dawn prayer, right? So it tells us at least how important it is. But so it proves that A, you could do qada of it, or B, that it's extremely important and the current prayer is not valid until you do the previous prayer. Right. So regardless of how we view witr, we should view it as wajib, practically speaking. Right. Yes, the Jumhur says it's not wajib, but we should treat it as if it's a wajib. For example, you're in the airplane, pray like one rak'ah witr or something like that. It's very important. أخبرنا مالك أخبرنا يحيى بن سعيد الأنصاري أن عبادة بن صامت كان يؤم يوما فخرج يوما للصبح فأقام المؤذن الصلاة فأسكته حتى أوتر ثم صلى بهم. So Imam Malik informed us from Sa'id ibn Jubayl, from Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari, the Qadi of Medina, informed us that Ubadah ibn Samit one day led the prayer. He came out that morning for the prayer, and the Mu'adhin began to the Iqamah. He silenced him until he had prayed that witr, and then led them in prayer. قال محمد أحب إلينا أن يوتر قبل أن يطلع الفجر ولا يؤخر إلى طلوع الفجر فإن طلع قبل أن يوتر فليوتر ولا يتعمد ذلك. I shouldn't do that on purpose. وهو قول أبي حنيفة. Muhammad said, yeah, it is preferable to us that one perform the witr before the dawn appear and not delay it until the dawn's appearance. Should it appear before one performs witr, then one should perform the witr. However, one should not do that deliberately. That is the verdict of Abu Hanifa. May Allah have mercy on him. Saying Assalamu alaikum in witr. أخبرنا مالك أخبرنا نافع عن ابن عمر كان يسلم في الوتر بين ركعتين والركعة حتى يأمر ببعض حاجته. Malik informed us that Nafi said that Ibn Umar would say Assalamu alaikum witr between the two rak'ahs and the one rak'ah. So it would not be three. So that could give the order to someone who has needed. So it's clearly two separate prayers. It's one rak'ah by itself. قال محمد لسنا نأخذ بهذا ولكننا نأخذ بقول عبد الله بن مسعود وابن عباس رضي الله عنهم ولا نرى أن يسلم بينهما. It's three rak'ahs together. It is not one rak'ah. You can't just do one rak'ah. So we do not adhere to this. We adhere to the verdict of Abdullah Mas'ud and Ibn Abbas. Um, so here, there's a type of here, may Allah be pleased with him. Um, and we do not think that Assalamu alaikum should be said between them. قال محمد أخبرنا أبو حنيفة أخبرنا أبو جعفر قال who this is قال مرسل again قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يصلي ما بين صلاة العشاء إلى الصبح 13 ركعة 8 ركعات تطوعا و3 ركعات الوتر وركعتي الفجر. So 3 ركعات, witr is 3 rakats by itself. Can't divide it up. Muhammad said, Abu Hanifa informed us that Abu Ja'far, I'm not sure who this is, narrated to us that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ used to pray between the prayers of Isha and Subh 13 rakahs. 8 rakahs of Tahajjud, 2 rakahs of Witr, and then 2 rakahs of Fajr, i.e. the 2 rakahs of Fajr. قال محمد أخبرنا أبو حنيفة عن حماد بن أبي سليمان عن إبراهيم النخعي عن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه أنه قال ما أحب أني تركت الوتر ب3 وإن لي حمر النعم. Muhammad narrates from Imam Abu Hanifa, from Hamad ibn Abi Sulaiman, from Ibrahim al-Nakhai. That's Umar al-Khattab. He's not alive at that time. Right, so there's a gap in the chain. Allahu Alam. Said, I would not readily give up witr with 3 rakahs, not even in exchange for red hided cattle. Right, meaning the most expensive cattle possible. So he says cattle here. I think it's Humr al-Na'am is camels. Allahu Alam. قال محمد أخبرنا عبد الرحمن ابن عبد الله المسعودي عن عمرو بن مرة عن أبي عبيدة قال عبد الله مسعود الوتر 3 كثلاث المغرب. So Muhammad narrates from Abdul Rahman ibn Abdullah al-Mas'udi, who informed him from Amr ibn Murrah that Abu Ubaidah said, Abdullah Mas'ud said, witr is 3, just like Maghrib is 3. Right? You can't just pray 1 rak'ah, it doesn't exist. قال محمد حدثنا أبو معاوية المكفوف عن الأعمش عن مالك بن حارث عن عبد الرحمن بن يزيد عن عبد الله مسعود قال وتر 3 كصلاة المغرب. Another chain transmission to exactly the same effect. Abdul Mas'ud is saying no, it's 3 rak'ahs. Muhammad said Abu Muawiyah al-Makfuf narrated to us from Al-A'mash. This is the student of Imam Abu Hanifa and the great Qari and Mufti and Muhaddith. Right, his hadith, Al-A'mash, his hadiths fill the 6 books. From Malik ibn al-Harith, from Abdul Rahman ibn Yazid, that Abdullah Mas'ud said, witr is 3 like the prayer of Maghrib. قال محمد أخبرنا إسماعيل بن إبراهيم عن ليث ibn Abi Sulaym, not Layth ibn Sa'ad, right? And Ata ibn Rabah, right? Not Ata ibn Yasar, Ata ibn Rabah in Mecca, right? قال ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما الوتر كصلاة المغرب. Same thing. Muhammad said, Ismail ibn Ibrahim informed us from Layth, right? And he's weak, Layth ibn Abi Sulaym. From Ata, from Ibn Abbas, who said witr is like the Maghrib prayer. محمد said أخبرني يعقوب بن إبراهيم حدثنا حسين بن إبراهيم عن ابن مسعود قال ما أجزأت ركعة واحدة قط. Says you can't just pray 1 rak'ah. Muhammad said Yaqub ibn Ibrahim informed us that Hussein ibn Ibrahim informed us that Abdullah Mas'ud said never did a single rak'ah suffice. It's not enough. قال محمد أخبرنا سلام بن سليم الحنفي عن أبي حمزة عن إبراهيم النخعي عن علقمة قال أخبرنا عبد الله مسعود أهون ما يكون وتر 3 ركعات. Muhammad said that Salam ibn Sulaym al-Hanafi informed us from Abu Hamza from Ibrahim al-Nakhai that Alqamah said, Abdullah Mas'ud said. So notice again, Abdullah Mas'ud is the Hanafi school, basically. The least that witr can be is 3 rakahs. قال محمد أخبرنا سعيد بن أبي أروبة. This is Basri. عن قتادة بصري عن زرارة ابن أبي أوفى عن سعيد بن هشام عن عائشة أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان لا يسلم في ركعتي الوتر. Right. With this chain transmission that from Aisha, the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم used to not give salams after 2 rakahs of witr. He didn't do that. Right. Presumably a weak hadith. Wallahu a'lam. It says باب سجود القرآن, prostrations during recital of Quran. أخبرنا مالك حدثنا عبد الله بن يزيد مولى الأسود بن سفيان عن أبي سلمة أن أبا هريرة قرأ بهم إذا السماء انشقت فسجد فيها فلما انصرف حدثهم أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سجد فيها. Malik informed us that Abdullah ibn Yazid, the freed slave of Aswad ibn Sufyan, narrated to us from Abu Salama that Abu Hurairah recited with them إذا السماء انشقت and prostrated in it. When he finished, he told them the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم had prostrated in it. قال محمد بهذا نأخذ وهو قول أبي حنيفة رحمه كان مالك بن أنس لا يرى فيها سجدة. Right? So notice how Imam Malik is quoting a hadith then going against it. Right? أخبرنا مالك حدثنا الزهري عن عبد الرحمن بن أعرج عن أبي هريرة أن ابن الخطاب قرأ بهم النجم فسجد فيها ثم قام فقرأ سورة أخرى. Malik informed us that Zuhri informed us from Abd al-Rahman al-A'raj from Abu Hurairah that Umar al-Khattab recited Surah al-Najm with them and prostrated in it, then stood up and recited for another surah. قال محمد وهذا نأخذ وهو قول أبي حنيفة رحمه الله وكان مالك لا يرى فيها سجدة. Muhammad said, we adhere to this. This is the verdict of Abu Hanifa. May Allah show mercy on him. Malik ibn Anas used to hold that there is no prostration in it. أخبرنا مالك حدثنا نافع عن رجل من أهل مصر ومصرين. You can do both. أن عمر قرأ سورة الحج فسجد فيها سجدتين قال إن هذه سورة فضلت بسجدتين. Malik informed us that Nafi informed us that a man from Egypt that Umar recited Surah Al-Hajj and prostrated twice in it and said this surah has been honored with 2 prostrations. أخبرنا مالك أخبرنا عبد الله بن دينار عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما أنه رآه سجد في سورة الحج سجدتين. Right? So we mentioned that the key students of Ibn Umar is Abdullah ibn Dinar. Malik informed us, Abdullah ibn Dinar informed us that Ibn Umar prostrated twice in Surah Al-Hajj. قال محمد روي هذا عن عمر وابن عباس وكان ابن عباس لا يرى في سورة الحج إلا سجدة واحدة الأولى وبهذا نأخذ وهو قول أبي حنيفة رحمه الله. So I'm not familiar with the first one where it says that he didn't in Surah what was it? Surah Al-Najm. But I'm familiar with Imam Malik having no sujood al-sahw, sujood tilawa in Juz Amma. Not sure about. Yeah, I'm looking at this. Yeah, فَاسْجُدُوا لِلَّهِ وَاعْبُدُوا سَجْدَ عِنْدَ غَيْرِ Malik. That's what I have in this thing. So in Shiqaq as well, there's no sujood there. Imam Malik, Surah Al-Alaq as well. Where's Surah Al-Alaq? No sujood for in there either. Surah Al-Alaq. There's Surah Al-Hajj. Okay. In Allah yaf'alu ma yasha. That's number 1. Where's number 2? So here number 2 is يا أيها الذين آمنوا اركعوا واسجدوا واعبدوا ربكم وافعلوا خيرا لعلكم تفلحون عند الشافعي وأحمد It is not in the Maliki school and is not in the Hanafi school. That's what he mentions here, right? Imam Muhammad is mentioning there. He says, we adhere to this. Like this has been as from Ibn Abbas, he used to consider that only one prostration is sort of the Hajj, right? The first one. That's the Hanafi school. Okay. Okay. So it's Bab al-Marru or al-Marri bayna yadayil musalli. Someone who passes in front of someone praying. أخبرنا مالك حدثنا سالم بن نضر مولى عمر بص أن بسر بن سعيد أخبره أن زيد بن خالد الجهني أرسله إلى أبي جهيم من الأنصاري يسأله ماذا سمع من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول في المار بين يدي المصلي قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لو يعلم المار بين يدي المصلي ماذا عليه في ذلك لكان أن يقف 40 خيرا له من أن يمر بين يديه قال لا أدري قال 40 يوما أو 40 شهرا أو 40 سنة. Malik informed us from Salim, Abu Nadr, the Mawla, the freed slave of Ibn Umar, of Sayyidina Umar, who narrated from Busr ibn Sa'id, that told him that Zayd ibn Khalid al-Juhani, the tribe of Juhayna, sent him to Abu Juhaym al-Ansari to ask him what he had heard the Messenger of Allah say concerning those who pass in front of someone praying. He said, the Messenger of Allah said, if the one who passes in front of someone praying was aware of what he incurred in doing that, he would have been better for him. It wouldn't be better for him to wait to stay for 40 space, unknown word here, than to pass in front of him. Abu Nadr said, I don't know whether he said 40 days, 40 months, or 40 years. أخبرنا مالك حدثنا زيد بن أسلم عن عبد الرحمن بن أبي سعيد الخدري عن أبيه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا كان أحدكم يصلي فلا يدع أحدا يمر بين يديه فإن أبى فليقاتله فإنما هو الشيطان. Malik informed us, Zayd ibn Aslam informed us that Abdurrahman, the son of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, narrates from his father, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when one of you is in prayer, let him not ignore anyone passing in front of him. Should he persist in walking in front of him, let him fight him, I push him to the side, for he can only be a shaitan. أخبرنا مالك حدثنا زيد بن أسلم عن عطاء بن يسار عن كعب الأحبار. So this is Jewish sources. أنه قال لو يعلم المار ما بين يدي المصلي ماذا عليه في ذلك كان أن يخسف به خيرا له. Right, set with a chain transmission to Ka'b al-Ahbar, said if somebody who passed in front of someone praying were aware of what had incurred in doing that, it would have been better for him if the earth swallowed him up. قال محمد يكره أن يمر الرجل بين يدي المصلي. What he means by makruh here is not disliked, it's not makruh, it's haram, right? But makruh tahrimi. فإن أراد أن يمر بين يديه فليدار ما استطاع ولا يقاتله فإن قاتله كان ما يدخل عليه في صلاته من قتاله إياه أشد عليه من ممر هذا بين يديه. ولا نعلم أحدا روى قتاله إلا ما روي عن أبي سعيد الخدري وليست العامة عليها ولكنها على ما وصفت لك وهو قول أبي حنيفة رحمه الله. So Imam Muhammad said it is disliked, meaning sinful. That's what it means here, right? He uses the word dislike to mean sinful. For that a man pass in front of somebody praying. Should he want to walk past in front of him, the one in prayer should ward him off as best as he can, but not fight him, right? Meaning, qitaluhu, meaning you just ward him off with small movements. For if he should literally fight him, then the consequences of his fighting in the prayer will be sterner for him than the others passing in front. You're breaking the prayer, which is haram. You can't do that. Were he not aware that anyone has, we are not aware of that anyone has reported literally fighting the one who passes, except what has been reported to us from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Neither does it reflect the general opinion, which instead is that what I've described. Notice how the Sahaba, how the fuqaha are working, they go with the Amma. So they are editing out fringe opinions. أخبرنا مالك حدثنا زهري عن سالم بن عبد الله عن ابن عمر أنه قال لا يقطع الصلاة شيء. Nothing breaks the prayer. Nothing can come along and break the prayer. قال محمد به نأخذ لا يقطع صلاة شيء من مار بين يدي المصلي وهو قول أبو حنيفة. So even if that happens, it doesn't break the prayer. We adhere to this. Nothing that passes in front of the prayer interrupts the prayer. This is the verdict of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. باب ما يستحب. So in the Shafi school, when you say you're blocking somebody, what it means is the conditions are there. You are close enough to the barrier to fulfill the conditions. The barrier is tall enough, etc. All the conditions are there. And then this person comes between you and your barrier. You put your arm out and stop them coming. If they slipped over because it was a wet floor, for example, and they died, it wouldn't be your fault, right? It's their fault. That's what it means by. But in the Shafi school, you cannot literally push them back and start having a fight with them. That's not what it means. It means, right, resist them as much as possible. باب ما يستحب من التطوع في المسجد عند دخوله. What is encouraged of voluntary prayers in the mosque upon entering. أخبرنا مالك حدثنا عامر بن عبد الله بن زبير عن عمرو بن سليم الزرقي عن أبي قتادة السلمي أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا دخل أحدكم المسجد فليصلي ركعتين قبل أن يجلس. Malik informed us from Amir ibn Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr, from Umar ibn Sulaiman from al-Zuraqi from Abu Qatada, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when one of you enters the masjid, then let him pray 2 rak'ahs. Let him is by default for wujub, right? It's not obligatory. So the Shafi'is say it's makruh not to do it. The Hanafis just say it's sunnah to do it, right? But the default is that it should be wajib. Okay, how do you know it's not wajib? Because of the Bedouin who came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, do I have to pray any other prayers other than the obligatory prayer? And he said, no. Right? قال محمد هذا تطوع وهو حسن وليس بواجب. This is voluntary and it is good, but it is not obligatory. Right? And the tahiyyat al-masjid of the Masjid al-Haram is tawaf. باب الانتقال في الصلاة, turning to the side in concluding the prayer. أخبرنا مالك أخبرني يحيى بن سعيد عن محمد بن يحيى بن حبان أنه سمعه يحدث عن واسع بن حبان حبان قال كنت أصلي في المسجد وعبد الله بن عمر مسند ظهره إلى القبلة فلما قضيت صلاتي انصرفت إليه من قبل الشق الأيسر فقال ما منعك أن صرف على يمينك قلت ورأيتك وانصرفت إليك قال عبد الله فإنك قد أصبت فإن قائلا يقول انصرف على يمينك فإذا كنت تصلي انصرف حيث أحببت على يمينك أو يسارك يقول ناس إن قعدت على حاجتك فلا تستقبل قبلة ولا بيت المقدس قال عبد الله لقد رقيت على ظهر بيت لنا فرأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على حاجته مستقبل بيت المقدس. So Malik informed us from Yahya ibn Sa'id, who informed us from Muhammad ibn Yahya ibn Habban, writing from Wasi ibn Habban, who said, I was praying in the mosque and Abdullah ibn Umar was leaning with his back towards the Qibla. When I concluded my prayer, I turned towards him on my left hand side. Um, he asked, what prevented you from turning to your right? I answered, I saw you and I turned towards you, i.e., I'm just following the direction that I want to go. Ibn Umar said, you have done right. Even though some people, and here doesn't mean and, it's even though. But some people would say, turn to your right, like you should walk in the right direction. When you're praying, turn whichever way you like. That's what this topic, what this quote is about. Okay. And then it continues. And some people say when you sit down to relieve yourself, don't face the Qibla or face Jerusalem. Abdullah said, once I went up on the roof of the Prophet's house of ours, and I saw the Messenger of Allah relieving himself, facing Jerusalem. Right? So what do we say? We say there was a wall in front of him. That's why. Not that it's okay. Right? It's not that it's okay, but rather that there's a wall in front of him. قال محمد وبقول ابن عمر نأخذ وينصرف الرجل إذا سلم على أي شقه أحب ولا بأس أن يستقبل بالخلاء من غائط وبول بيت المقدس إنما يكره يستقبل بذلك القبلة وهو قول أبو حنيفة رحمه الله. Right, so Imam Muhammad looking at a totally different way he says we adhere to the verdict of Abdullah ibn Umar. A man may turn to whichever way he likes when saying Assalamu alaikum, i.e. after saying Assalamu alaikum you can go whichever direction you want, and there is no harm when going to pass feces or urine in Jerusalem. It is facing the Qibla which is low when doing that. That is the verdict of Imam Hanifa rahimahullah. He understands it in a totally different way. It's not even an issue to begin with. باب صلاة المغمى عليه, the prayer of someone who is unconscious. أخبرنا مالك حدث نافع عن ابن عمر أنه أغمي عليه ثم أفاق فلم يقضي الصلاة. So Malik informed us that Nafi' narrated to us that Ibn Umar lost consciousness, then awoke and did not make up the prayer. Okay, so this is the Shafi school. They say the same thing. Because why? If you were mughma alayhi for the whole of the time, passed out for the whole of the time, including the waqt daruri. So from before dhuhr till maghrib, you do not pray dhuhr or asr. Okay, similarly, from before maghrib till fajr, you do not pray dhuhr or maghrib or isha. But if you come to after a concussion, for example, okay, then you're gonna have to. Then it's gonna become ada. So you passed out before dhuhr, but in asr time. You're gonna have to pray dhuhr, asr, ada, and on time. قال محمد وبهذا نأخذ إذا أغمي عليه أكثر من يوم وليلة, for more than a right, whole period. وأما إذا أغمي عليه يوما وليلة أو أقل فقضى صلاته. Right. So Imam Muhammad said we adhere to this when he has been unconscious for more than a day, for more than 24 hours. In the case of being unconscious for a day and a night or less, then he should make up the prayers. Why? Because it's the concept in the Hanafi school that prayers have to be made up prayers have to be made up when it's 5 days or less. Then you can't pray the current 1 day or less. You can't pray the current prayer without the previous prayers there. It's a similar kind of idea. Allahu A'lam. بلغنا عن عمار بن ياسر أنه أغمي عليه 4 صلوات ثم أفاق فقضاها. أخبرنا بذلك أبو معشر المديني عن بعض أصحابه. It has reached us that Ammar ibn Yasir was unconscious for 4 prayers, then he awoke and he made them up. Abu Ma'shar al-Madini related that to us from some of the companions. Allahu A'lam. Babu Salat al-Marid. Right, so this the same thing, being under general anesthetic for the whole time. Being insane for the whole time. Right? But here the Hanafis do not have the idea of waqt daruri. Right? So for us, we'll be like, if you become eligible to pray, you've come out of your unconscious state. In Asr, then Dhuhr, Asr are due. Or in Isha, then Maghrib, Isha are due. باب صلاة المريض, the prayer of the sick. أخبرنا مالك حدث نافع عن ابن عمر قال إذا لم يستطع المريض السجود أو ما برأسه. This is but it should be أومأ normally. أومأ يومئ, but you can just do tasheel of the hamza and say أوما يومي. Right? Like التهجؤ أو التهجي. Right? Writing تهجؤ from hijab. Or tahajji, you just do tasheel of the hamza and change it to a ya. Or qara'a or qara'atul kitab. Right? Qara'atul kitab. Or yuqri'uka, yuqrika. You can say both. So Malik informed us from Nafi' that he to us that Ibn Umar said, when some of you is sick and unable to prostrate, he should motion with his head. So you do whatever you can, right? You do as much as you can. Muhammad said, we adhere to this, and it does not become him to prostrate on a stick or anything else to raise up. You should make his prostration lower than his bowing. Right? You do as much as you can. Basically, this is the verdict of Imam Hanifa. باب النخامة في المسجد وما يكره من ذلك. Right? Fu'ala is used in Arabic for small things that come off big things. غسالة النجاسة, the water that is still in the garment after you've washed, the water has gone over it, and the majority of the water has washed out, but there's still water left in the garment. Nukhama. Um, Ghusala. I'm trying to think about the other words. There's other words. Fu'ala. I'm trying to think of other words. I'm talking fu'ala. It means a small thing that comes off a big thing. There's another pattern fu'al, which is very similar. أخبرنا مالك, so it says spitting phlegm in the masjid, and what is disapproved? You have to understand the masjid had a sand floor, right? The masjid had a sand floor, so it's you know so like somebody spitting something on the floor, it's sand, right? As opposed to damaging a waqf, right? You spit on carpet, it's totally different. أخبرنا مالك حدثنا نافع عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رأى بصاقا. Notice فعال بصاق, which is also a small thing that comes off a big thing. There's a slight difference. I can't remember right now. Anybody listening who's interested, listen to this recording 10 years later, inshallah ta'ala. Look at Ma'ani al-Abniya by Dr. Samarati, Dr. Fadl Samurai mentions fu'al, hutam, nuhat, futat, busaq, right? Fu'al is used for different things, but one of them is a big thing that comes off a small thing. Ra'a busaqan or buzaqan or busaqan, right? So this sad here is a bit like the sad in saqar or sirat. You can do it as a sin, busaq. Okay, you can do it as a sad, busaq, or you can do it as a buzaq, right? Which is a za, right? Like ihdina الصراط المستقيم with the sin. واهدنا الصراط المستقيم. واهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Right, so the qaf is affecting the sin and making it become heavy or making it become majhura, right? It's like so za is a zai that is tabaqi, right? It has sifa of isti'la like the sad. So the scene busaq, buzaq, buzaq. It's not that. It's not a clean zay. It's a la, right? Like a Bedouin was asked a question. Do you say saqar or do you say saqar? He says, no, I say zaqar. Right. So the qaf in the word saqar, which is a falcon, change the scene into a sad, or change it into a heavy zay. Right. So رأى بزاقا أو بساقا أو بساقا في قبلة المسجد فحكه ثم أقبل الناس فقال إذا كان أحدكم يصلي فلا يبصق قبل وجهه فإن الله تعالى قبل وجهه إذا صلى. So Malik informed us from Nafi', narrated to us from Ibn Umar, that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ saw the traces of spit or phlegm. Right? Phlegm, by the way, is from balgham. Balgham, right? Phlegm is Arabic, right? So the G is originally a ghain and the PH is originally a ba, balgham. Right? Perhaps it's originally from something else, Wallahu a'lam. He turned saw the trace of spit or phlegm in the masjid in the direction of the Qibla and rubbed it clean. Then he turned towards people and said, when one of you is in prayer, let him not spit in front of him, for Allah exalted is in front of him when he prays. So as we know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of Makan, is not in Makan, right? He's not above us, nor is he below us, nor is he to the right, to the left. in that sense, in a physical sense. He is in a spiritual sense. Right? Um, قال محمد ينبغي له أن يبصق تلقاء وجهه أن لا يبصق تلقاء وجهه ولا عن يمينه وليبصق تحت رجله اليسرى comes in a hadith. So Muhammad said he should not spit in front of him nor to his right but rather to his left. Inshallah, we'll come to this inshallah next week. So does this apply to a space like a masjid? So when you have material there like carpet or something else, like can you, for example, get a knife and start cutting up the carpet? No. So anything that damages the property, can't do that. Can you pour water all over the carpet? Like let's say, for example, pour a little bit of water to clean it. Yeah, you can do that. But what can I soak the whole place? So if it was earth, you could just pour water everywhere, it's fine. But when you pour water all over the carpet, it damages it. So you cannot damage the waqf, the endowment. Inshallah, we'll stop here. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان الله وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك